and welcome to another edition of the 11th OVC. We talked about Poinsetts on the last video, and we're going to go more in depth on Poinsetts this video. In fact, not to burst anyone's bubble, but we are going to have a lot of videos on Poinsetts. The last video we introduced the ranks and the files and how many files per squadron and the regimental makeup of Poinsets. Now we're going to get into the positions of where each of the ranks and files and officers are supposed to be. So let's go ahead, let's talk about where the captain is supposed to be, where the lieutenants are supposed to be, first sergeant, okay, where the colonel is supposed to be in the regiment of Poinsets. Let's talk about that. If you have any questions, feel free to write below the video here. So welcome again, and let's talk about Poinsets. The Poinsets manual quickly dives into the formation of a regiment in line of battle, in column, and how to conduct the regiment on dress parade. In this video, we will focus on the proper position of the NCOs and officers in Poinset's two-rank system. As we discussed in our introduction to Poinsets, the regiment consists of 5 squadrons. The squadron is composed of a total of 48 files that is divided into 2 divisions with 2 platoons in each division. While we will talk briefly about the overall regimental position of the colonel, staff officers, quartermaster, and similar higher-ranking regimental positions, we will mainly focus on the detailed positions of each squadron, since that's where many of us began. So that includes the NCOs and sergeants. The captain of each squadron is in the center of the squadron. The croup of his horse is 1 pace in front of the heads of the horses in the front rank. The senior first lieutenant commands the first platoon. He is at the center of his platoon with the croup 1 pace in front of the heads of the horses in the front rank. The first lieutenant commands the 4th platoon on the other side of the squadron. He is center of his platoon, again, with his croup 1 pace in front of the heads of the horses in the front rank. The senior second lieutenant, he commands the 2nd platoon. He again is at the center of his platoon with the croup of his horse 1 pace in front of the heads of the horses in the front rank. The 2nd lieutenant, he is commander of the 3rd platoon. He is at the center again of his platoon with the croup of his horse 1 pace in front of the horses behind him. The first sergeant is posted behind the 3rd file from the right of the 1st platoon. He is also the principal guide when left in front. The 2nd sergeant is behind the 3rd file from the left of the 4th platoon. He is the principal guide when right in front. Now we'll talk about left in front and right in front on a different video, but note that this is the case. The 3rd sergeant is on right of the front rank, and he is not counted in the rank. The adjutant is on left of the front rank, again not counted in the rank. The 5th sergeant is on left of the 1st platoon, counted in the ranks, with the rest of the following sergeants. The 6th sergeant is on right of the 2nd platoon. The 7th sergeant is on right of the 3rd platoon. The 8th sergeant is on right of the 4th platoon, and the corporals are posted in the front rank, at least, on the right and lefts of their respective platoons, in addition to the rear rank. The guidons that are carried by NCOs and posted on the left of the 1st and 3rd platoons. Now, when the company acts singly or by itself, Poinsets commands a little bit different structure. The positions of the company acting singly is the following. The captain is at the same location in the center, or in the front of the center. The 1st lieutenant is in rear of the center in the rank of file closers. The 2nd lieutenant commands the 1st platoon and is in front of that 1st platoon, centered as he was before. The 3rd lieutenant commands the 2nd platoon as in front of them. The other sergeants or other lieutenants who may be in charge of platoons, again, 1 pace in front of their respective platoons. The 1st sergeant, however, is in rear on the right in the rank of file closers. The 2nd sergeant is on right of the troop, and the 3rd sergeant is on left of the troop. The NCOs are posted left of the 1st platoon and on the right of the 2nd platoon, and the corporals are next to the sergeants, who are on the flanks of each platoon. The colonel in Poinsett system is placed 25 paces in front of field staff. He moves wherever he is needed. The lieutenant colonel is 12 paces in advance of the center of the right wing, and he moves as directed by the colonel. The major is 12 paces in advance of the center of the left wing, and he moves again as directed by the colonel. The adjutant is on a line with the front rank, 2 paces from the right of the regiment. He serves as the point of direction during the guide right. The sergeant major is on a line with the front rank, 2 paces from the left of the regiment. He serves as point of direction during the guide left. The general staff officers are 25 paces in rear of the right of the 1st squadron. The quartermaster sergeant is behind the adjutant on the line of the rear rank. The trumpeters are formed in 2 ranks, posted 25 paces in the rear of the center of the regiment. When the regiment is no longer in a line of battle, but however in a column, Poinsett describes the position of the officers in the following manner. Whether you're by 2s or by 4s, the interval of each squadron should be 12 yards between each squadron. The colonel of the regiment is on the side that guides, generally left, on the left side, and is 25 paces from the flank of the column. The chief bugler is directly behind the colonel, and the lieutenant colonel is on the side, again, that guides, 12 paces from the flank, versus the colonel's 25 paces of the flank. Again, the lieutenant colonel is on line with the lieutenant commanding the 1st platoon of the 1st squadron. Again, different than where the colonel is in the center of the column. The sergeant major is on the side that guides, 2 paces from the flank of the 1st column, and on a line with the guide of the left of the 5th squadron, so on the far back. The quartermaster is on side opposite to the guides, 2 paces from the flank and on line with the 1st files of the column. The captains of the squadrons are on the side that guides, generally the left side, 4 paces from the flank and abreast of the center of their squadrons. The 1st lieutenant is at the head of the 1st platoon, 1 pace in advance of the 1st files, having the particular guide on the right of his side. The other platoon commanders are on the side that guides again, 1 pace from the flank of the column, abreast from their files. Their 1st files, I'm sorry.